Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Looks like we have channel member Dan, channel member Frank, channel member Darren, channel member Donald, channel member Rex, channel member Sergio, channel member Ted, channel member Amy, channel member Dawn, channel member Rob in the house this morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. And guess what today is? Guess what it's time for? We have Tesla earnings coming up after the close today. And honestly, if it's anything like past ones, we're going to see some movement. I'm sitting here loading a couple charts up to make sure everything shows up properly. And try this. There we go. We have Tesla earnings right there. This morning, Boeing earnings, AT&T, Coca-Cola, NextEra Energy, GE Veranova, Thermo Fisher, CME Group, Boston Scientific, General Dynamics. So we're seeing some, defense stocks. And we're seeing some things moving. Enphase up there yesterday, Seagate up there yesterday, Texas Instruments up there yesterday after the close. So today after the close, the big news, the big dog, the big one of the week, Tesla right here, IBM also, and Lam Research, and Newmont Mining. I think a few of us might have some exposure to that one. We'll see what's happening. I don't really expect a whole lot. Hey, channel member Ivan, good to see you. And if you want to chat with me while we're live, while we're kind of streaming here, all you got to do, be a member of the channel, click the button down here in the bottom corner, right here where I am. Click the button. Well, I guess it's all on the other side. It's over here. Click the button on the channel. And a few seconds later, after you're a subscriber, you can chat. And that's the only requirement. Now, people are like, well, you have channel memberships and you have market roadmaps and all these things you talk about. Yeah, it's all things to help support me and my family. Doing YouTube doesn't, pay the bills by itself. It does take support from viewers like you, as they say on PBS. And so I appreciate everybody that's a channel member. And I appreciate everybody that chooses to go deeper with me. I do offer a variety of other things, all the way up to Termite Trading Lab, VIP, All Access Pass. But that right there is separate from a YouTube channel membership. YouTube is kind of separate on its own. So just laying that out there for everybody in case there's any confusion. So we have an interesting set here. Now, as I was talking about last night, this is not the end of it. We have some PMI coming up tomorrow. Oh, there's the spilled the beans here. And tomorrow, look at the calendar right here on the 24th. Roll down. We get some flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI. They're both colored red right now. These tend to move the market a little bit. That'll be after the market opens tomorrow. And then we get some new home sales right after that. Then Friday, kind of benign, we do get core durable goods orders right there and some revised consumer sentiment. And then this is where things get really wild. All right. This week right here, we're getting GDP and PCE and most of big tech earnings. We're getting Apple, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Google, all coming in between Wednesday and Thursday. All right. Now, anybody know what the next week is? After that, election week, election Tuesday, followed by Wednesday and Thursday is the FOMC meeting. So Wednesday starts the FOMC meeting, Thursday wraps it up. That's going to be between now and Friday, 2 Fridays from now, things are going to get spicy in the market. All right. We're probably going to see some volatility. Now, volatility doesn't mean drop. Volatility means fast moving, big moving, outsized moving price action. The volatility could go up. The volatility could go down. The volatility could go up and down, and we stay flat, at the end of 2 weeks. Like that's, people get confused when I say we could expect volatility, because a lot of people, when they say volatility, they mean drop. I don't necessarily think we drop. I think we can get some volatility. I think we could see, if we repeat like we did 2016 on that presidential Tuesday election night, we saw the futures drop 5%. A 5% move down, but then it was a green candle by the end of the close. And we can go look at that in a minute. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor. So what that means, I make predictions. I may never get another one right again. That would kind of suck because that's what I do. But you shouldn't trade stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them. If you don't know what you're doing, like try to educate yourself. Try to have a plan. Know when you're right, know when you're wrong, and certainly don't stay wrong in the market. That's where it costs you big money. Being wrong, it happens. Staying wrong, that's where we could, and especially if you double down, triple down, quadruple down, it's where you really lose big money if you stay wrong. And if you just need somebody to tell you what to do, you got to hire a consult a financial advisor. So coming up over here, we have, I'm not even sure what happened here. Tesla. Oh, I see what happened. The list changed on me. So here's the sloppy chart, right? We've been tracking this chart in the mornings. Here's the much more clean chart. What we've done. We came up, rewind to 2 earnings back, right here. Right there. We popped. It was a relatively short pop, hit the roadmap line, and consolidated here underneath. Then we popped again, and we eased up, and then we got to this earnings right there, and we dropped. Bummer. Now, I've run some numbers. I've updated them. I've actually added more numbers since I talked about it last evening. So let's see if we can pull this up. Ah, there we are. Oh, I got to refresh it. Pull in the new numbers. There we go. Right here. This is what we're looking at. I've gone through all the earnings all the way back to 2015. And what was the candle color? Beat or not beat? Bottom, top, middle of trend. Results. Days to do that. So what's really important here, though, we pull this over. 71.7, 71.8% of the time, almost 72% of the time, we drop on earnings. All right, that means 28% of the time, we pop on earnings. 70-30 or 72-28, which way you want to bet. Now, average move down is 13.6% when we move down. Average move up, when we move up, 33.5%. So when we move up pretty darn big. All right, now average days to drop is 6 days. Usually takes 6 days to make this 13% down. This was running a little higher. Now it's a little lower. Now the average reaction all in, -7%. Now, as you can see, there seems to be quite the difference between the average move down and the average move up and the average. Average of both of those. So, need to be careful which way you bet, all right? But the average move seems to take about 6 days. At least the drops. The pops kind of in the same ballpark. Now, I do have some notes on, for me on what other things happened here. Some of these led to continuation, a further drop over 26 days, 26 days, 26 days. That's kind of like we start this further drop. All right. So further decline. Now, look at the charts. We've done some interesting things. Right here, non-log mode, we've been sitting right on top of the 618. Turn on log mode, it's a little bit, we're just sitting on the roadmap line and the 618 a little bit below us. So non-log mode kind of looks the best at this point. Finding support at the 618, at the roadmap line, everything's looking pretty good. This one moved up over here, retraced 618, held right there, took off, higher low, that's the only problem here, and retraced to a 618. So this is a nested, what I call a nested setup. This is potentially, it doesn't have to be, this is potentially, some of you may be like, well, I've been here the last few weeks, and you would say this swing high, this swing low, they overlap. That's a valid point. That is a little bit of uncertainty. All right. Yes, that's true. But the fact we have two measured bounces and we're coming into earnings right now, here's what you got. Let's just clear this off. We'll talk about it. All right. First measured bounce was a relatively large in size and set the potential to rally up to 315, 350, and 395. For those who've been around a while, 350 is a number that rings a bell. Now, that's just the first one. Now, obviously, we haven't played that out yet. We haven't even gotten to the bearish target. This is bearish, this is coin flip, and this is bullish. If we stop here, bearish. We stop here, coin flip. Don't know which one. Stop here, usually bullish or extremely excited, a little extremely excited on a bearish move. But what that means is the first move up here, what we're doing is we're projecting that first move up off of this low, and that brings equality. All right. In a correction, we refer to that as A equals C because that's one move, two moves, three moves. Now, you'll be like, well, wait, just hold on. We'll get to this pullback here in a second. Now, what we kind of see often is an extension to the 1272. And on that move, that can lead to uncertainty. All right. It could be a bullish move that came up shy. Usually we like the stronger bullish moves, or it could be a bearish move that gets continuation lower. And it just got a little excited on that move right there. Usually, though, if we make it all the way up here, it's a new trend, a new bullish trend. This is the proportion that usually sets up a 1, 2, 3, and then we get a 4 somewhere out here and a 5 in the trend. All right, we get continuation in the trend. I hunt for these measured bounces because it doesn't matter if it's a corrective move or a new impulsive move, which trending moves are called impulsive moves in Elliott Wave speak. This is the spicy stuff right here. This is the good stuff. This is where JT makes these giant trades that make a bunch of money. I sit here and wait for them. I wait for them a lot. Sometimes I wait for them for years. In one of these trades, making a bunch of money. So that's what we have cooking with the first move. All right, we're going to clear it back off. That one's sitting there waiting. Second move. Start at this low, go to this high, and this retrace. Now, could we dip a little bit more on earnings? We could. Now, these numbers, not quite as spicy, but that's what we would expect in a sub move. This is what this would be the sub move if this is the 1 and this was the 2. This is 1 of 2, 2 of 2. All right, so it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. we would get a 3 that would potentially go to here, 340. We get a 4 and a 5 that pushes us up, possibly to that upper level off of the one over here, that 1618 that was over here. And then we get a, so that would complete the 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3, 4 of 3, 5 of 3. Then we would get the, and that would complete the 3 for this set over here. Let's put circles on them. This would be the 3 circle right there. And then we would get a 4 circle. And then we would, somewhere over here, we get a 5 circle. You know, it won't let me, there we go, circle. So this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, whoop, and a 5 right there. Inside that, right? And the circles would be the bigger move. So this is the potential that we have cooking right here. This move could be spicy. This move could go like this. And then we get the 4, 5. And then we get the 4, 5. All right. 4s are notorious for being choppy and sideways and taking a while, taking way longer than you expect. Now, some of the magic here, some of the things one of the things I really, really like, the roadmap line, the secret to the roadmap line. Wave 2s and 4s in Elliott wave speak. This is why I don't usually refer to this, because I don't like being an analyst, and getting into the analyst stuff doesn't make us money. Like, we can debate this stuff all day long, doesn't help make money. But wave 2s and wave 4s, these potentially both wave 2s, tend to hit the roadmap line. They tend to bounce off the roadmap line. So these are both potentially wave 2s. And potentially we can get a big wave 3. And then that's why I'm always expecting the corrections to come back to the roadmap line. All right. So, there you go. There is a chance that we either just pop or we dip and rip. I'm staying long my TSLA. Wrongamer can state what he's doing if he wants to. He's been telling the Termite Trading Lab group what he's doing in our Discord. And so there you go. That's kind of what we're expecting. Now, I also said I would go talk about the election and ES. So let's zoom out a little bit here. We're going to have to fly back to a time long, long ago, a land far, far away, and try not to hit any of my alerts along the way. All right, 2016. Look at this, baby. We close the day right there. Look at that, baby. That happened overnight. And then we closed the day with that right there when Trump won. Basically, Trump declared the winner. And that's what we got. So, got to be careful here. This is what I was talking about. We saw that right there, all the way down to here. 5% correction. That, you can say it's like a stop clear if you want. That was a big flush right there. 106 points overnight. That ended up being almost 140 point day. And back when the S&P was sitting at 2,000, we're talking about, 6% kind of day. 6% range. Huge move. And then follow through the next day. Looking at almost 7% in 2 days. And if you go off this low right here, I dipped into this right there. I mean, this kind of looks like what we're doing right now. A little bit. We're not quite there on the roadmap line, but that price action. Went on and on. Huge move, huge move. So that's volatility. All right. When I talk about volatility, even though the actual move, if you'd just gone to sleep and just woken up, didn't look at the futures candles, we're just up 1%. No big deal. No big deal. Go look at the S&P 500 in the same time frame. Fly back to a land far, far away. A time long, long ago. It's the Star Wars references. Same move right in here. Kind of a nothing burger. Right? There's that Tuesday. There's the next day. Looks a little bit different. We actually got a drop and then a pop. 1.5%. It's kind of like, whatever. So it's all about what you're trading and what you're watching, all right? Like, everybody's like, what are you going to do? What do you think's going to happen? Now, the difference, we didn't have like an FOMC meeting coming up the same week here. So this gets to be an interesting. Doesn't that flash right there look a lot like what we did in August? That's curious. That's curious. Yeah, right there. Drifting off a little bit. I mean, it's not the same. Like, they're never exactly the same, but we are drifting off here a little bit. What if we drift off down here into the election? We could postpone that spike out to new targets. So after the election. Could just chop and churn for the next two and a half weeks. Be kind of sucky, but we could this could be a real possibility. Just throwing it out there. I was like, you gotta sit here and you gotta be like, where am I wrong? What might happen that I'm not thinking of? Like what might throw a wrench in my plans? And if we break down below the roadmap line, can start a deeper correction, lower than what we had right back here. This could be, remember that, circle back to the beginning conversation on Tesla, all right? I was talking about the 1, the 2, the 3, the A, the B, the C. That could be an A, that could be a B. We could see a C right down here on this correction before we can go up higher. So far, that's only three moves right there so far. These things concern me, okay? We've got them in the market. These concern me. We didn't hit the ideal for a bearish. We didn't hit the ideal for a bullish. We didn't hit any kind of ideal anything. We didn't do the ideal bounce. We didn't hit the target yet. This thing's left a lot of things undone. We did a potential measured bounce. We didn't get the kind of proportions that we usually see off a measured bounce. But that doesn't mean that this isn't a 1, 2, and a possible 1, and we get another 2 before we start doing all the upside. Now the real fear I have coming in, like if big tech earnings come in super spicy and we do a blow off top, what they call a blow off top, if we go exponential in the next 2 weeks, and everybody's like, what the fudge is happening? That's one thing to watch out for, all right? If we blow off top into the FOMC, we don't have much time left to do it. And that makes me think this is a lower probability event right now, all right? What may happen what seems higher probability at this moment, right now. We kind of churn sideways to down into the election and then do the blow off top. And it could exceed everything I'm even thinking to the upside. We run out of steam. Could be into first quarter 2025. Could be possibly even into slightly into second quarter 2025. I mean, it could be a really, really beautiful move. Everybody's like, the market's never dropping. And then we get a drop that we haven't seen in a long time. Much worse than 2022. Could take us down, 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 down. Pretty big. Just want to show you something a second. What does that look like? We had another bit right there. What does that look like? Yeah. Bubble pattern. We could chop here. A couple years. I think 1200 might be a good place to come back down to. That'd be pretty sick, right? I mean, that make you sick, not just like sick, awesome. That's like make you sick. Kind of, ugh. That's sitting there. 2030s. This is lining up to be like a 100-year pattern. All right. Careful out there. Can't see it on the candle pattern. Let's see. Look what we had. Does this look familiar? Does that look familiar? Let me know in the chat. $100 ago. Looks dang near the same to me. All right. I'm just saying. All right. Just saying. That looks, I mean, it's amazing what's hidden back here. Right? Could be a wicked fast flush out. Could last longer than this one. That's the bubble pattern, right? Gotta be aware of what's cooking in the charts. All right. That doesn't make us money today. Tesla might make us some money today. All right, we're not crashing today. Very unlikely. Tesla. Look at me. I've rolled back and looked. I don't find any period of time where we've sat this tight a range on Tesla. Yeah, 8 days in a row. And this baby moves. Maybe we had it right there, but what resulted out of that? A pop. But those are even tighter. Like those little dojis don't even hardly have any movement at all. We at least got a little bit of color on these. Those barely any daily movement at all. You roll back in here. This thing tends to trend. It does not tend to just sit for a prolonged period of time. So, I don't dive into all the numbers. I just look at the chart patterns. The chart pattern has a nice, beautiful potential. We are still above the long-term downtrend of highs. So it's like a pros and cons column. Pros, we have a 1-2 measure bounce setup. Pro, we have a sub 1-2 measure bounce setup. Pro, we broke out over the downtrend of highs that's been intact since 2021, and we're consolidating on the top of it. Pro, we're on top of the roadmap line on the daily chart. Pro, the targets are still up above us. Now, cons, we're doing something weird with the price action. This sitting still, consolidating, not great. Con, 72% of the time we drop. Con, that move is usually 14% down or 13.6. So we look at this, take a look at the numbers here. You know, I don't know what the close is going to be today, so we're just going to kind of roll off of where we are right now. So that average drop from the current price, 13%. I zoomed it in too much. 13.6 average. Of course, we go bigger and smaller. So that puts us down around 188. Now, the pop on average, if we pop, the average pop, 33.5%. Look where that puts us. 290. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. And there are many instances where we pop 66%. Just kind of funny how it works that way. The average is 33 and a half. But there's been several instances where we pop 66%. That could put us all the way up right about there. 360. So 66% upside versus a 10-20% downside. But the odds of the pop are 28%. Just sharing statistics. All right. Just sharing statistics. So keep following me for more. If make sure you're subscribed and all that stuff for updates. We'll be live talking about this tomorrow morning again. So, like I said, that doesn't make us any money today necessarily. Maybe after the close that makes us some money. Here we are. Yes, potentially playing out this move here. Jumping into the lower time frames. This is where things get a little muddier. Let's turn off the algorithm here. That reversal looked good, but we made a lower high, and so far we have 3 waves down. All the patterns stem off of that 3-wave thing. Like, that could be a correction complete. Could be. And it went a little deep, went down to the 786. So here's, what do we watch, JT, you say? And we could extend it to the 1272 and still maintain a potential 1-2. If we bust on down, though, and get a lower low, we reset everything. So this has a potential upside reversal cooking. All right, these are what I would watch for, sit here and look for all the time. Right now, proportional, but we're still getting red candles and still looking kind of, ugh. Why am I not using SPX? Because all of these candles from right over here at 4 o'clock yesterday, all these candles from right there until the open here just a minute ago don't exist on SPX. So from right here to right here, none of those candles right there exist in the price action of SPX. We just got a gap. Doesn't show us anything. You're gonna be like, well, turn on the after hours. There is no after hours. That's the cash index. It stops here and restarts here. We look at the futures chart, ES, one exclamation point on TradingView / ES on most of the platforms, / ES. This gives us a more complete picture of what's been happening overnight. Actually went back too many days. I know. Sorry. It was right there. That price action. Right there, A equals C off of that high. But now we're starting to exceed it. Now we're getting close to 1272. And this has delayed data for 10 minutes. So I don't pay for live current data on TradingView because most of the time it doesn't matter. So what we're looking for: 1, break above the roadmap line. 2, a break above the 618, which just happens to be right near that high. So there's the 3 things we need to probably go up and hit these numbers right here on the next move. And possibly, it looks really sloppy for a measured bounce, but maybe get an outsized move on up here, possibly up to 59.36. So if we're breaking above this high, and we're going to be bullish, which all-time highs are kind of bullish, probably see an extension up here, if not even higher. Now, we break down below the low, these targets down here become really real, and look at the bigger downtrend off of this high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We may be heading down here before we can finish this. And, you know, we could do this grind. This grind could continue right out into the election. Kind of be sucky, but we could. There you go. Ooh. There you go. Hey, Charlie. Goose said he's going to bring you in March when we have our in-person event. Kimberly said she looked forward to meeting you. That's my wife, if you didn't know. And NQ, kind of choppy, uptrending price action. But if we break down below this uptrend of lows, it's going to result in a flush out here. And Russell. This may be the one that's kind of running the ship right now. We may see this go hit the roadmap line between now and whenever we're going to do it. The election right there. Maybe I should add that to all the charts. Do we bounce or do we break down? Question mark. Oil. This is getting scary. Look at that potential head and shoulders we're making in there. It could be a little baby shoulder. Doesn't matter. It's a baby shoulder, big shoulder. Doesn't matter. It has the shoulder, head, another shoulder potential. We break down below that. Could result in a flush out. And if they manage that into the election, I don't know. Like, now I'm starting to think if oil just craps the bed, maybe it's not good for the incumbent team. Now, oil being soft is one thing, but oil crashing is a whole different scenario. Like, this could be a big down scenario here. I just changed the size of that. Not what I meant to do. That thing suddenly dropped 12 points. Ooh. GC. Topping up. I mean, I said 2760, right? That's 2760, and we may get a retrace off of that level. 2760. That's a resistance point. Now, silver, I said 35. I don't know how many times I said 35. Look at how firmly we stopped at 35. Holy guacamole. Almost taking yesterday back at this point. I would like to see the extension on a little higher. I think we could possibly get up to 37 this week. Maybe next week. This can turn around. This can turn and burn pretty quickly. So usually after we get the big move up, we rest for a few days before we get the next pop. My put spread that I had on, put credit spread, did close out after the live show last night. So a few people were asking me about it. I had put spread 26, 27 down here. Credit spread. That chunk of those closed out after I was no longer live last night after the futures market reopened. These are in futures. Credit spread. And then I have a debit spread. That's at 30, 32. It's currently in the money. I'm looking for the exit. Looking for the exit. I don't want this to come back down below that line right there. I don't really want to see it come back below 36.50. All right. I'm still looking for more money. That one's still only like 60% of the way to its max profit. Crazy enough. If we get to 37, I may be able to get I'm only looking for about 75% of the profit off of it. Maybe 8, I guess 80% of the profit off of it. See, I'm being greedy, but it represents a lot of money because this is $5,000 a tick, or $5,000 a point, I should say. Maybe like, well, I thought options were $100 a point. Not on futures. Futures are all different. Silver is $5,000 per point, per one contract. Bitcoin. Rejected the breakout. What do I expect? Probably a retrace to the roadmap line. Maybe like we talked about on Tesla, where we come down to this zone right here at the 618 and do another measured bounce. We have a measured bounce potential here, measured bounce potential here, and we could potentially do a third one. Maybe the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We'd stack it up. But the other thing that's sitting here on my mind. This looks like a lot of choppy overlapping price action. We've been doing choppy overlapping price action since March. Wow, this is a higher high, higher high, higher high. Just since the low in August, we have not made higher highs on any of this trend before the August low. So it's like pros and cons. Which one's stacking up? It's kind of that coin flip, right? We didn't break out. We didn't add another +1 to the positive upside column yet. I'm always sitting here running these scenarios in my mind, like how many things are like, I don't actually write them down. I just kind of keep track of them in my mind. Like how many things are positive on this chart? How many things are negative? Unfortunately, it's closer to a coin flip right now on Bitcoin. I'm optimistic, but optimism is not a great way to trade. Got to trade on reality. This very potentially bounced off of the roadmap line there, especially on the spot market. We actually touched it. I went and dug in a little deeper. We actually did touch the roadmap line on the spot market at Coinbase anyway. Right there. It was obscured by my oval I had on there from 2 days back. We touched it. This retrace, kind of what I expect. 618. If we can hold it, positive. If we bust through it, maybe looking for a move lower than this low we had back here in September. Now, funny enough, the low in September was not a lower low on the spot market. The low in August is standing as our lowest low. We could go make a lower low if this fails. That's on my mind. Dollar in the resistance zone. If we break that this, man, dollar doesn't tend to just rip. Like something's up. We rip, but then everything chills out for a little bit. It doesn't just tend to rip and then keep ripping. So this is a resistance zone, and we may see this violently. This would be the interesting thing if this violently retraced and we held the historical correlation where the dollar drops and the stock market pops. So that would be interesting. Doesn't have to be. Don't trade on correlation. Like, we could see the dollar drop and the stock market drop. We saw that back here in August. Saw the dollar dropping and our U.S. market flushing out. Right there. That move. This move right here. The dollar was dropping, the stock market was flushing. The dollar continued down. So don't get stuck in the correlation. This one may be the tell. Retesting the roadmap line right there. If we can hold it, upside targets. If we break it, maybe heading to a new lower low off the bottom of the chart here. And if we do this right here, if, big capital if, the U.S. market's going down with it. All right, there's no possible way that this flushes that big and doesn't take the U.S. market with it. We'll probably go up if we do this. If we get the breakout. If we do that, U.S. markets probably go up. If we do that, U.S. market's probably going down. So keep an eye on this one. NKD, 1 exclamation point on TradingView /NKD on trading platforms if you can pull up the Japanese futures. Tesla, we already talked about the potential here. If you missed it, use the scroll bar. Go back to the beginning. And, man, I talked for a long time, and we just now got to the list. So let's rip through the list really quickly. This was what I do. I pull all the things moving $2 or more up, $2 or more down, put it on the gainer. Up is on the gainers list, down is on the decliners list. We look for stuff that might be set for a potential. That's sitting right up there. Nice pop. 92 upside target. Not a lot left right there. Well, we need the daily close above this 618. If we just drop off now, that's no bueno. NXPI, still sitting on the roadmap line. Even though we got a pop today, it may be on the path down to 217. TXN, potential bouncing here. We break back above the 200. We could get 217. And NTRS, nice pop. That's probably hit targets. Be careful chasing that one. It's exceeding expectations. We do have some upside consolidations here to deal with. Prior highs on the way down. We're going to have to beat more of those to get continuation higher. Fun. funware. So this is a dumpster fire, right? There's a reverse split. There's the giant down. Reverse split. More down. I would expect more down in the future. Be careful. Don't chase that one. I wouldn't touch it. Reverse splits, put it on my not very good to trade list. Probably not gonna trade it list. That's why people are like, JT, why don't you trade HUT? You know, a Bitcoin miner. I'm like, it reverse split. I'm not gonna do. Kind of sticking on my guns there. On Simi, potential to come on down here. DQ is not Dairy Queen. That looks pretty bad. Maybe working on a reversal, but that's got a lot of stuff to deal with to get out of this funk. And we see the 3-wave thing right to the 1272 could be a reversal. See it right there? It starts out with the stuff I was talking about Tesla right here, just upside down. First move, and that second move, arrow. And that, it's a 1272 extension. You see the busted through the 1, got the 1272. It's coin flip. Do we get continuation, or is that the exhaustion and we get the reversal? That's what we don't know. Things we have to look at. We're going to have to break a high. Right now, lower high and retraced. Now, the thing it has going for it, zoom on up, opportunity, smaller time frame, little smaller picture here. We did the we did a roadmap bounce, 618 level right there. We get above it, could go up to 29. That doesn't require breaking that prior high, really. Just kind of coming in the same place, same vicinity. So if we get above that 23 area, we could see a move on up to 29 right there on DQ. Pretty nice. QSR, choppy sideways, restaurant brands, international. My goodness, that's just choppy sideways price action for years. Years and years and years. Look at that. I wouldn't mess with that. WPP, another choppy sideways hot mess of. Let's look for trenders, all right? McDonald's, ouch. Whoa. They got earnings coming up next week. So guess what? If we drop on off to the roadmap line, this could set McDonald's up for a run higher up into the 323. That's what we need. Then break above here. Then we can get that move there. EMPH. Oh, getting close. There's the earnings. Here's the target. Didn't make a lower low yet. We need to make a lower low than that low right there, over here, and preferably touch into this target zone. Broke down out of the consolidation. I was warning, not getting through the roadmap line was not bullish. Here you go. Potential downside. 55, 60 area, 50 to 60 area, basically. That's where I want to see that bottom out. TMO. And nothing. It's just sideways choppy price action. We hit the extension on that move and retracing. So the next opportunity, big if we could break back up through the 607 area, we could see a rally up to this 638, possibly 640 area up there. ASML, still working on the bottom. We may see this continue on down to 600. ANRO. Oh my goodness. Don't trade biotech. That's the warning here. Biotech is on my don't trade it list. Look at that. Nasty. VRT. likely to go on up and hit the 118 before we find big resistance, maybe even 127. MAR, Marriott, potential to come back down to the roadmap line. Hilton, potential to come back to the roadmap line. Coin, potential to come back to the roadmap line. QCOM, Coin didn't break out of the downtrend. Like that high, these two highs, this high, didn't break through. So caution. And the 618 line was right there too. So met a lot of resistance. Retrace. Holding the roadmap line would actually be a very positive sign. You could aggressively buy at the roadmap line if we hold it. If we break through, not good. Not good. So QCOM just consolidating under the roadmap line. We may see another dip to a lower low before we can actually get out of this funk right here. It does have a potential measured bounce in place, but waiting on something. ARM stopped at that resistance. Didn't get through. If we break through the roadmap line, the support underneath, we could be heading down here to that gap up. Caution. IPOs are not bullish. Winnebago. Goose, I told you this might be breaking down. Look at that. Broke out of the channel. Retested it. That's bearish. Highly likely at some point to make a lower low over here somewhere. STX. Potential back to the roadmap line after the failed attempt at breaking out to new highs. So the target is still up here, but probably going to retrace and go for another one. Go for another attempt. CSGP. Nope. Not even going to, like, that's just choppy sideways, hot mess. Not, nope. MSTR. Potential to push it on out, 239, 300. Holding up really well in the face of Bitcoin, pulling back a little bit. FSLR. There's the target. Solar and alternative energy just getting whacked a little bit. General Dynamics, a lot of volatility. Looks like we missed on the top, beat on the bottom. Roadmap line retrace after hitting those targets would be expected. EDU. Man. Beating on the top, missing on the bottom. Maybe heading down here. 39.40. Spucks. Ooh, missing on the top, missing on the bottom. May retrace to the roadmap line. Doesn't have to. It could just break out. This has a very bullish measured bounce potential. But we're also choppy sideways. I have a couple options riding on it just to see. Just to see. The potential is good. But there's also potential of epic failure. CEG. That's played out. BSX. Probably coming back to the roadmap line. CSTM. Ouch. That's kind of deep. May go down to $8. That's a possibility. If we don't hold it here, starting to look pretty gnarly. Drug. That one's probably coming back here eventually. Whenever the party gets done here, probably coming back eventually. One of these days, maybe 2 or 3 months from now. Maybe 6 months. I don't know. Intercontinental Hotels. Target, just like all the other hotel groups. Probably going to retrace. MSTU. MTSU. Riding with MicroStrategy. It's 2x on MicroStrategy. NVIDIA. Riding with NVIDIA. And the funny thing here, NVIDIA was poking out, right? Making new highs. Just barely. Grinding the new high. NVIDIA. Look how far away from new highs that is. Be careful. This is indicative that we may see a bigger down on the leveraged. And WD-40 has set up a bounce. Beautiful bounce. So pulling up the statistics here, WD-40 is a potential entry with a target at 270.71. Sorry, my brain had a malfunction there for a second. 246. Stop. We closed here with an upside potential of $6.84. 80% win rate on 45 trades since 1973. This has been around for a long time. Typically lasts about 50 days. Nice positive profit factor. Maybe not the banger. Stuff over 2 is usually the pretty good stuff. That one just hanging out at 1.8. So just 1.8. That high, that low. You may be like, wait, your image there, drew it close. And so you can go with this one or you can go with this one. It's your dealer's choice. Why not this one? Because of the filter I have, it won't go that far back. So I found this one, set up the trade. It could happen quickly. That's not that far. Not that far. So the algorithm found that one and 270 upside. But if you want to look at this one, 276 gives you almost double the target there. And look at what we have over here. Potential for 289, 299 possibly. So it's got a nested setup that looks pretty dang good, if you ask me. Could be some nice upside potential on WFDFC if you take it, and let me know how it goes. No matter the result, if you take it on the chin, you mark down the day, let me know how it goes. Looks pretty good though. That one looks pretty good. Nice win rate too. Remember, this could take a while. 50 trading days. That's not 50 calendar days. That's 50 trading days. So we're talking about from here, over here, 50 bars. It's out 2.5 months. We're talking about January. Could be twice as long. Could take 100 days. That would put us out in March. All right. Could take 3 times as long. Could take 150 days. 150 trading days. I mean, that would be like, dang, that took forever to get that small move. It's $6. But that's the thing. All right. This one looks pretty spicy for going higher fast, but you never know. You never know on these things. All right. Have a great day, everybody. I'll be in Discord, and I'll see you later. Try to not lose money today. All right. Remember, it's not staying wrong. It's not being wrong that costs you money. It's staying wrong that costs you the money. Don't stay wrong when proven that you're wrong. Don't double down. Don't quadruple down. Be careful. The money you save may be your own.